water pipe make it from bottom to top, but I'd say there's still about 20 riders in total that haven't made it up there yet, and they're still working at it.
You see the lines change as well. It's obviously got so cut up to the right there, but they're now trying to pull the guys up what was originally the harder line.
Yeah.
It just shows you how much these hills cut up and how much harder it gets as you get further back in the pack.
Curious to know where Jane Daniels is in the mix at this point.
Yeah, and your ice hockey man.
Right.
We saw him get through here, but that's last we've seen of him.
Well, we're keeping an eye out for Jan Ludwig in number 122. I don't know where we'll see him or if we'll see him anywhere along the way. And right there, we've got Bernhard Walzer, who's still taking a breather in Carl's dinner.
Looks like he's in a bit of pain. And this is where you start getting into trouble. If you stop moving, the clock
everything locks up.
And the clock seems to go into fast forward.
Yeah.
If you can just keep moving anywhere in any way, you've got a chance of getting there.
He's got an hour and a half time to get there.
Took Johnny Walker about half an hour from here, yeah? So we can afford to sit there for about 45 minutes if he can run at Johnny's pace.
Yeah, assuming he can run at Johnny's pace. He looks done, though, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Matthias Wittmer. So a couple of Austrian guys. Maybe Matthias and Bernhard will give each other a hand, you know? Uh-oh. It's not good when the bike starts to smoke like that. It looks like he's busted a seal on his exhaust.
It's probably steam. The bike's, even though it's a really cold day today, when you're thrashing the clutch and generating loads of heat and no airflow, the bikes get really, really hot really quickly. And often the
and the riders too.
Yeah, we run backup fans, but they can only do so much. When it starts to steam, it's a pretty good excuse to just can't go any further. Maybe I'll just have to wait for a bit.
It's like trying to back up a steep hill in a car that's a little too heavy, grinding the crutch away, getting to the top, and seeing the smoke come pouring out from underneath the hood. And that particularly rancid smell of asbestos and fiberglass and everything that's involved in the clutch. I can just imagine the conversation that's about to start here.
Looks like there might be a race breaking out.
Yeah. I'm done. Let's go get a schnitzel.
Remember the advice my father gave me, the first Enduro I ever did. He says, don't worry, you're only about 10 minutes from home. If it's too hard, you can just walk home. It might be starting to become an option for these guys.
Or at least for those guys that have been camping here as well, you know?
Come on, guys, you got to get moving. So there's not an awful lot going on in Carl's Diner at the moment. Just very, very, very tired guys. They've got movement.
Yeah, they're finally getting going. I mean, it's clear that this is the most fatiguing race in the world for these guys. So, I mean, just getting through Carl's Dinner, which is one section out of 20, has got to be something that's going to just drain your battery right down. And finally, we get to see where Lars Innekel is. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's...
Looks more like Taichi to me.
Yeah, it's Taichi. I think you're right. That's that floppy front end and the missing number plate. You're absolutely correct. It was Tai Chi.
I wanted to root with the short legs too.
Yeah, there we
That's
go.
what gave it away.
The legs gave it away. Yeah, it's a tough call because Nicholas also got a plain white helmet, and Tai Chi is now working his way up Dynamite. I think he's at Dynamite.
Yeah, another really, really strong finish for him. Well, a little bit premature maybe.
Yeah, okay, but considering that a few years ago he started in the 5th row.
This isn't Dynamite. This is the backside of the section that we couldn't see before that I can't pronounce. I think it's Veluga.
Veluga. Taichi Tanaka. You're right. He's well back, isn't he? He's got a Dynamite will be his next destination then. Well, just a quick update for any of you out there, or maybe perhaps you, Chris, that's interested. We have about 30,000 spectators that are here, either camping or came just for today to watch. So that's a pretty good number considering A, the weather, B, the fact that there's not a lot of space to stand around where it's not somewhat treacherous, and we're back at Carl's dinner.
Okay, I'm going to have a go at European pronunciation. This is Christoph Gatscher, maybe? How'd it go?
Let's have a look here. Sounded good from Gotcha. Yeah, you sounded good to me.
Hey, practically a local.
It's not really an Italian-sounding name, though, is it?
No. And the only Yamaha we've seen.
Yeah, and one of the few guys wearing an open-face helmet. It's an unusual choice of equipment here, considering the treacherous nature of these courses.
Yeah, it's a risky move, but it allows you to get way more air. You can breathe and it keeps your head cooler. It's not a bad option. A lot of the guys back in the days, earlier Erzbergs used to swap halfway around, but now that it's so gnarly and so difficult all the way, want a bit more protection.
I think just for my own headspace, if I were in their situation, I'd be like, okay, I just want to have every possible bit of protection on me that I can. That's, It
looks like this guy here's done what we talked about before, and he's lost the chain.
Oh, man.
Flicked it off on a rock, and it all gets all jammed up on the front countershafts rocket, and yeah, it's a big, big mission to get out. The sort of thing that stops you finishing races, unfortunately.
And again, you've got to be self-sufficient in these situations. You can't really get help from the sidelines.
No.
Perhaps borrow a tool or two, but that's really about it, isn't it? If that.
Or you can get a really big stick and wrench it out. That sometimes works. I'm not sure if you can hear this down there, but try and find a stick.
Yeah, it's not like replacing a bicycle chain, You can't just pop it back into place and have a pedal.
If you're lucky, you can just flick them back on, but most of the time they get all jammed up on the front and it just wedges itself in there. And yeah, you got a little bit more horsepower involved.
Get a belt drive. Oh! Maybe next year we'll see guys on Harleys riding this thing. Hey, the Sportster.
Maybe the Prologue.
Oh, maybe.
Could be your calling.
It could be my calling, a Prologue on a Sportster. Christoph Gotcha working his Yamaha through Carl's dinner.
And at this stage, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's just moving. Doesn't matter really how fast you're going, because the racing's kind of done.
Just keeping it going.
Yeah, just stay away from that clock and keep moving.
Well, you got to like the steady flow here. Still hour, 15 minutes to go, so there's a definite possibility that we'll see him coming across the finish line. Needs to get through Carl's dinner, though, and get a move on. What I'm curious about is, it's not a long race as far as distance is concerned, but there's a fairly significant amount of sections that's like this where you got to take it slow, work the engine a bit, work the clutch a bit, and whether or not the tanks would have enough gas in them.
I think a lot depends on how much comes out the top. So if you keep the bike straight up, you don't lose too much. When they start falling upside down and high siding the bikes, going end for end down the hills. You lose a lot out at the top, and that's
really, there's a risk of it coming out.
It kind of comes out the overflows and stuff, and if you leave the bike lying on its side, it all runs out the bottom of the carburetor. You lose a lot of fuel doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, because I noticed Ben Hemingway, there's no covering on his tank, and you could actually see there was a fairly significant amount of fuel left.
Yeah. The reality is a lot of the time you're not full gas. You're just little blips of throttle. So like through here, although it can take you half an hour or unless you're Johnny Walker, to get through, you don't actually use too much petrol doing this sort of stuff, because it's more about the line, the technique, and placing your wheels than it is about giving it.
Well, what makes these bikes so different? I mean, this is something that I was curious about as well. What makes these bikes so different to, say, a freestyle motocross bike? I mean, it's obvious they don't have the grab holds and all of that business on them, but I mean, they're motocross bikes.
They're basically the same, but you've got softer, more plush suspension that's sort of designed to soak up the rocks and the smaller impacts, and then the power is much smoother to allow you to make more traction.
Okay.
And here's the missing Lars.
Hey, there he is. Just coming to checkpoint 17, which is Veluga. So that's where we saw Taichi Tanaka.
Yeah.
So obviously Lars has fallen back several spots. Taichi Tanaka sitting in, I believe it was 5th place or 6th perhaps.
The wheels have come off the wagon a little bit for Lars, but he's still moving, still got a really good chance of a finish.
I'm going to have to remember that line. Wheels have come off the wagon when I collect my bet winnings from Brugge over there, the Austrian commentator. I feel bad for Lars, though, because he had a fantastic start. He was right there with Johnny Walker for so much of the race, and then I don't know what happened. You know, I mean, like Paul said when he got to the finish, it's just, you never know, and that's why you can't give up and you can't stop fighting.
Lars is actually doing something I did 2 years ago. I got out the front, had a massive lead. I thought, oh, I'm going to win. And then, yeah, the wheels came off the wagon. I just blew out completely. It's very easy to give too much in the early parts, and you don't have enough in reserve when you get to the really horrible stuff in the last. And yeah, I learned that mistake the hard way.
All right,
yes.
Well, finally, some parts are deciding to let go of life on Tanaka's bike as he heads over towards Dynamite.
He's going to have a bit of a bill at the end of this one.
Yeah. And I can see them down there, right? And there's a bunch of the guys sitting down in the KTM 10 in the catering, just shaking their heads at the condition that Tanaka's bike is in.
That one guy looks like he's got a checklist, like he's already started.
Yeah, he's like, okay, that's
list.
going to cost him $50. Oh, that came off. That's $150.
I'm sure you get a bonus if you get to the finish, though. So that.
All right, well, we're going to let Taichi make his way over to Dynamite, and we're heading back over to the water pipe and still working at it. And there's still guys trying to struggle up from the bottom. And it seems to me, like you said, they're making that first line up on the left-hand side and then moving it over to the right so they can get a little bit of help.
There's even guys trying to get up to the left, the complete other side of the water pipes. I've never seen anyone try and get up there before, so they must be getting pretty desperate. Yeah.
You sure you want to let go of that chain right now? There you go.
It's a strong effort.
There we go. Come on.
Nice.
You got it. Oh, there we go.
Very nice.
That
Just
was
when we
good.
said it couldn't be done.
So coming back to Taichi Tanaka, he's at Dynamite, sitting in 5th place. Holy smokes! Attack that hill, Taichi.
How was that? Bit of style involved as well.
A bit of style. Went for a little flare, or not a flare, but a whip getting up into that next parallel position. And there on the left-hand side of your screen, folks, 1 hour, 11 minutes and counting down. to the close of the official 4-hour time limit for this Red Bull Hare Scramble 2012. I think Tai Chi's going to be in there, no doubt about it. Assuming the wheels don't fall off his bike, everything else seems to be coming off. Nicely done.
That'll be part of the plan. Get it lighter as you go around the trail.
that might be a good one, huh? Next thing we're going to see come off is the exhaust and then the cooling system, but he can coast the rest of the way without it.
We pause for composure, you reckon?
I think you can call it composure, or perhaps just a deep breath. I see what you mean with the legs.
Yeah, I mean, what a disadvantage he's got, and he makes it happen. I have absolutely no idea how he does it.
Maybe he needs to get paid more money. I got to work harder for everything. I should get more money. But he actually makes it look pretty easy the way he maneuvers that bike and everything. So kudos to Taichi Tanaka for doing real well here.
I talked to him a couple of days ago. I said, you don't lower the bike at all, reduce the suspension to get it lower to the ground? And he gave me a really puzzled look. I said,
why would I do that?
Why would I do that? I guess he's shown me why.
Well, that says a lot about his headspace. He's a battler for sure, a real warrior.
A ninja.
A ninja. Perhaps samurai warrior would be a more apt description for Taichi.
Actually looks like Dynamite's got a little bit easier this year. There's kind of a line carved into it. The first time we came up here, it was just all that loose, horrible stuff that you see on the left. Not that it's anything close to easy.
Yeah, it looks like it's a snap. No problem. Taichi's just ripping through this. He actually is doing really well, though.
Yeah.
Plenty of support from the sideline, and again, talking about that atmosphere and that vibe here.
Up on the pegs, balancing.
Wow.
That is sweet.
Track stand.
Very nice.
Good. I'm happy if I can do a track stand on my bike. I tried it on a Vespa once. That was just a fail that I'm glad nobody managed to catch on film.
So if the Harley doesn't work out, you're going to give the Vespa a try. More experience.
More experience, yeah.